We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube.
Just make sure you put the attendance sheet. Sean. All right, Shalom. To the sisters. I am priest and officer Shagapan of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we have been teaching and proving and defeating any opponents against the fact that the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, the so-called natives of the Americas, of the Caribbeans, are the actual children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Israelites of the Bible, the Jews of antiquity. That's who we are, right? And today is Wednesday, which is the law class. So like every law class, every Wednesday class, we're going to be diving into the law. And since it's still this month of June, which has become a disgusting month filled with pride of homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism, cross-dressing, pedophilia, child molestation, and all types of sexual deviancy, we're going to keep beating down the LGBT community. We're going to keep beating down this whole nonsense of having pride, of wanting to suck another man's rod as being a man, or wanting to munch on another woman's vagina as a woman, or wanting to simply cut off your rod to be a woman, or vice versa, cut off your breast to be a man. We're going to keep pounding and beating and destroying this LGBT community and this whole Pride Month. So today we're going to be talking about cross-dressing, this disgusting concept of men thinking that they can dress up as women thinking that they can dress up as men, all these drag kings and drag queens, cross-dressers, right? We're going to be talking about them. We're also going to be talking about those people who really like Optimus Prime and Megatron and want to transform their gender to the opposite gender, right? All these transgender people like Bruce Jenner. I will never call him by his name that he goes by now, that female name that he adopted. He will always be Bruce Jenner.
Right.
No matter what, whether he cut off his nuts and his rod, he'll still be Bruce Jenner. Just like that woman who played in what's that movie? Go ahead.
I was gonna say Miss Doubtfire.
No, I'm not thinking about that. The woman that played in Juno. There we go. The woman that I believe that's the character. That's the movie she was in. Juno. The girl that played Juno.
Oh yeah, like her.
She's
Yeah.
now converted to a man. I believe her name was Elaine or something. Now it's Elliot or whatever. Listen, I will never call her by the name she has adopted to be a man. She will always be Juno, that woman who used to drink, who got pregnant in high school and drank Sunny D.
Right.
Right? That's who she will always be to me. I will never call any transsexual, any transgender by the name they adopted. They will always be the name that I know them as. All right? So what I want right now, first I want the scripture that talks about cross-dressing. I believe that's in Deuteronomy 22. Like the 3rd or 5th verse, I think.
Deuteronomy 22.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 22, no, verse 5. That was cool.
Yeah, come.
Right? Because in this society, cross-dressing, now people say, oh, weed is a gateway drug, right? Cross-dressing is a gateway to transgenderism, right? It's so powerful, the concept of cross-dressing, because celebrities engage in cross-dressing all the time. It's such a gateway because kids watch these celebrities and actors and all these famous people cross-dress. They know that that person is a man or they know that person is a woman, but now they're seeing them transform into a woman if they're a man, or they transform into a man if they're actually a woman. And the kids watch this man be a woman, this woman be a man, and they enjoy it because it's funny. They think the person looks good being transformed because of the Hollywood magic and all that. And psychologically, it lets that little kid think that it's okay to be a boy and dress like a girl. It makes that girl accept that it's okay to be a woman and dress like a boy. People will like me like this. People will find me funny. All my favorite celebrities are doing it, so I can do it too. So it's like, you know how they say weed is a gateway drug? Well, cross-dressing is a gateway to the LGBT community. And it is a very destructive community because you are poisoning the minds and tampering with the psychological development of children when you decide to cross-dress on television.
Right.
You know, we would like for parents to have better control of what their kids watch and see. But in 2021, we understand that our people are destroyed. So parents are sitting right along with their son and daughter as they're watching Tyler Perry dress up as Medea. I remember growing up watching Martin Lawrence dress up like Shanae or his mother, right? People end up growing up and watching Queen Latifah and set it off just like a dude making out with a chick or having a woman as a girlfriend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or The Wire, that character or whatever her name is, Little Snoop, is a woman but is dressed as a man. You know what I mean? Acting like a man. This whole idea of cross-dressing is extremely dangerous because it opens the floodgates to your kids accepting that being a woman as a man is okay, or being a man as a woman is okay, when it's not. Please read.
There's Deuteronomy 22:5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
It says, a woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Now I'm going to give you some examples of what this is, all right? Here we go. Let me do a different search.
Maybe a dash in between cross and dressing.
Go ahead. Let me make sure I can also see it too. Let me log on.
Might want to click on them individually.
Oh yeah, I am. I just wanted to log on real quick so I can see this. Okay, perfect. Here are some examples, right? This right here is an example of a woman dressing like a man, right? Some woman, I don't know who the hell she is. She could be some model or whatnot, but she's dressed exactly how a man would dress. From the hairstyle slicked back to shaving her head on the side to slicking the front side over, from the bow tie to the fitted pants and the shoes. This woman is dressed like a man, right? Here's another example. This woman right here, whoever the heck she is also dressed like a man. From the button down, from the white button down shirt with the collar to the tie to the jacket, the suit jacket, right? This woman is dressed like a man. This is what men would traditionally wear. Let's get another one. Here is another woman dressed up for Halloween, but she's dressed up how, even though this is wrong for men to dress like this woman is mirroring what men would dress like out in these streets. A fitted white tee, a bunch of gold chains, boxers showing, pants hanging down their ass with some sneakers, right? This is how you would see our men destroyed in these neighborhoods, in these hoods, in these projects, on the block, selling dope, getting money, on the grind. She is portraying how men would look. Let's see, this could be a little bit better. Gotta increase this image right here.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is, but the light, the reflection isn't doing it any justice. You can barely see really any of it.
Yeah.
I thought you might have the light on above you, but you don't.
Give me 1 second.
Johnson. That's my name.
Okay, I got it right here.
I guess that's good enough. I guess you're trying to be low, ain't it?
I don't know who she's trying to be. But if you go look and just type in women dressing like men, this is one of the images that will pop up. She's dressed like a man, fitted on, gold chains, white tee, boxers showing, hands down her ass, with sneakers and jeans on, right? This is how women would dress, right? Now, let's continue with the scripture.
Johnson, 22:5. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
What?
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
And it says, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. Men are not supposed to wear things that are clothing for women, designed specifically for women. For instance, this disgusting photo right here. This is a picture of a man basically showing his chest and his hairy ass thighs in a flower dress. This is what women would wear. Now, women shouldn't be showing their chest and revealing that much of their body either. But the fact that this man is in some studio somewhere, deliberately decided to put on a dress for whatever the reason was, is disgusting. This idea of cross-dressing is disgusting. For a man dressed like this is wrong. Keep reading the verse.
5. For all that do so are abomination.
When a woman dresses like a man, it's a what?
Are abomination.
When a man dresses like a woman, it's a what?
Abomination.
An abomination is a wicked, disgusting, vile act according to God. And he hates it with a righteous hate. God hates when a woman dresses, appears, and acts like a man.
Right.
God absolutely is disgusted when a man dresses, appears, and acts like a woman. And this is an abomination. When a woman dresses like a man, it is an abomination. When a man dresses like a woman, it is an abomination, right? And it's entirely not these people's faults, right? It's not entirely their. Look at this picture here of this man in a dress and some feathery thing wrapped around his neck with earrings on, right? That is absolutely disgusting. This man right here, this model, right? Let me make this bigger. I'm pretty sure you all might have saw this somewhere. This model right here, it looks like a skirt dress because it comes the pattern comes all the way up to his chest. Absolutely disgusting. And it's the fault of these celebrities. It's the fault of these actors and singers and dancers, right?
Yep.
That our kids are watching on TV.
Right.
It all starts with our children watching things on TV. For example, Robin Williams, right?
Right.
That actor who killed himself. Thank the Lord, right? Because he was depressed or whatnot. I understand you'll be depressed, dressing like a woman to get fame, right? This picture right here of Robin Williams, it may look like Mrs. Doubtfire, it may look like a woman, right? But this is a man. This is a full-blown man. The same guy who battled Rufio and Peter Pan, Robin Williams. This is him right here, dressing like a woman for all of America to see on television screens, on movie screens, for all of the world to see on movie screens and cinematic theaters all across this globe. Robin Williams. And kids grow up and watch this and think that it is funny. Kids grow up and watch this cross-dressing and see all the jokes and antics that Robin Williams does dressed as a woman. Like that famous scene of him dipping his face in pudding and coming out with cream all over it, so that way it can appear as a mask that a woman uses to help rejuvenate her face. Right. This is an abomination. Right? What else? I know in my era we had a celebrity called Martin. Right? And he was very famous for playing Shanae and Big Mama. I'm trying to get a good image of this.
Yeah. That's probably that was just
Here we go, side by side. Look at this, right? This comedian, this actor, this celebrity, Martin, was very popular in the 80s and the 90s, in my generation, right? Dressing up as Shanae on the TV show Martin, dressing up as Mrs. What was it, Payne was the last name, Martin Payne, something like that?
Mama Payne, yeah, Miss Payne. Mama Payne, yeah.
Wow, Mama Payne, right? This is Martin Lawrence, dressed like a man because he is a man.
Yeah.
And then side by side is Martin Lawrence and this is why it's so terrible, because these celebrities absolutely obliterate the concept of women and men. This black man decided to dress up like a black woman, call himself Big Mama. So what this black man is doing is basically trying to mock your black mama. He's trying to make fun of your black grandmother, who was a strong woman, who helped keep the family together, who helped feed the kids, who was always there to babysit the kids when the parents wanted to go out. He's making fun of your grandmother. He is making fun of your mother by dressing up and portraying himself as Big Mama. Go ahead, buddy.
I was going to say, he's also taking
Just speak up.
Salaki, he's also taking money away from your mama, like Lunel. That could be her role. Another sister could be playing Shanae. Another sister could be playing his mama. But instead, he wants to take this role for himself, I guess, because in his mind, a black woman isn't as funny as he can be playing a black woman.
And not just that, it's further than that. You can tell he absolutely does not respect black women. About you?
Well, anybody who's familiar with Martin knows that show ended because he was sexually harassing Teacher Campbell, supposedly.
And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I absolutely can believe that he was sexually assaulting or sexually harassing Gina.
Yeah.
And Gina was fly, right? The total lack of respect for black women that our men have been raised, and it's crazy because black women are the ones that raise black and Hispanic women are the ones who end up raising black and Hispanic boys.
Right.
So imagine their upbringing, being raised by their mother, having disdain for their mother, seeing their mother acting like a whore, right, bringing different men in and out, seeing their mother think and act and behave irrationally, leads Martin and other celebrities like Martin to make fun of your mother, to make fun of your grandmother, to think that they can play a better woman than your woman.
Right.
Which goes back to the most current disgusting man, Tyler Perry. Want to get a good side-by-side view. There you go. You see this picture right here? This is Tyler Perry, a black famous writer, actor, director who made and created this black woman named Medea. Now, he has become famous making fun of black women, and black women don't even realize it. He has become famous for disrespecting black women, and black women don't even realize it. He has become famous for a man being able to be a better black woman than an actual black woman. If you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you. Yeah.
One thing I found funny, speaking about that, is that Tyler Perry is often quoted for like having ideals like, oh, if you can be a drug dealer, like say, when they give this one to this one, when they give this one to this one, and do all that. When my aunt used to be like, yeah, you got the right idea. That reminds me of Kevin Samuels and all these other cats. Like, women love listening to a homosexual to get advice.
Yeah, women love listening to a homosexual to get advice. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. And then there's this concept.
Now I'm trying to find, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I'm not sure if how familiar you are, but like, Medea, like, do you even know where that term? Yeah, the term Medea.
No, I did not.
Medea comes from my dear. My dear basically is like, basically, technically speaking, Medea is a mammy archetype. So if you're not aware of what a mammy archetype, there was two types of black women during slavery. There's the Jezebel whore, and there's the mammy, basically the big black woman that cooks all the food and raises the children. Medea is a play on that mammy. Like, so like the fact when you really look at it, an educated person who actually were to sit there and look at what is it called? Look at him from that perspective. He is actually very disrespectful to people, and that's why I find it funny because I remember years ago I was in like senior year. I remember Spike Lee came out and said Medea and Tyler Perry are a bunch of Salakia, because this is the word he used, buffoonery and coonery. And then the first thing I heard was my was like, oh, well, you won't say that to Martin Lawrence or so on and so forth. I mean, that's a little different though. I used to say it's a little different, but it isn't. At the end of the day, they're both homosexuals. Concept.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find.
Yeah, concept.
Right? And the reason why I say that Tyler Perry is the most recent and current leader in the destruction of little black and Hispanic boys and Native American boys' minds is his portrayal as Medea. He is the number one leading, he is examples of why black, Hispanic, and Native American girls grow up thinking that they cannot be good women, right? Because here we have Minister Louis Farrakhan, that snake monster, right? Ends up praising Tyler Perry for his creation of Medea. He praises a black, praises another black man for dressing up like a woman, for acting rude, for acting like a whore, because Medea ends up acting like whores in certain areas, right? For being for acting and portraying a loudmouth monster, right? For portraying a woman who is violent, filled with domestic violence, right? Minister Louis Farrakhan is praising a man for portraying a black woman in such a way, which is absolutely horrendous, because he's basically, Mr. Louis Farrakhan is basically saying and agreeing that black women are loudmouth monsters, that black women are extremely violent and rude, that black women are whores, and Tyler Perry is able to personify that in his rendition of a black woman and make it seem great. Make it seem that being a loudmouth monster is good. Making it seem that being a violent black woman is acceptable. Making it seem that being a whore is acceptable. This is what Minister Louis Farrakhan endorses. What you about to say about it? Go ahead.
No, well, Salaki, I was just going to say, like, basically, what he's doing is because because you had one movie, you even got a brother, he's like a sex crazed womanizer who smokes weed, and then you got other movies. She's usually trying to kill somebody, giving somebody bad. She told somebody to really kill her husband, basically.
Right?
Like, she constantly has a gun. Constantly, every movie has a TV show judge because she's constantly in and out of jail. Like, yeah, Medea, when you actually look at it, Medea is not a good image of black people.
It's a terrible portrayal of black women.
And if I may, not just that, the whole of all of the movies, like all of the movies are messed up in some way. The first one, the light skin, dark skin dynamic, and then the sister ends up leaving out, you know, that was the whole thing. What's it called? The second one, you got the what's it called? The mother of the girl was a rapist who let the younger sister's father sleep with the older one because that's the only way she can make him stay, destroying that mother. And then the girl's fiance ended up being abusive. If you notice, most of his movies destroy a black man. Only one who isn't touched is when he himself is playing the role of the black man.
Yeah.
That's the black man that isn't touched. But every other black man, they're abusive, they're evil in some way. Like that movie, him and Oprah came together for Colored Girls with Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg. And even in that movie, they made fun of Hebrew Israelites because Whoopi was supposed to be an Israelite. What's called all three. Only good black man was a cop. The other one was a drunken soldier, ended up killing his kids. The other was a closet homo, and I forgot about the other one after that. But yeah, Tyler Perry hates women, but Tyler Perry hates black people. Let's leave it.
But specifically, Tyler Perry hates women.
Concert.
I'm pretty sure somewhere in his life, in his upbringing, he was abused by black women, or he was disgusted by the black women around him. For him to think that it was okay to portray black women in such a destructive and demeaning way, right? Let's see what this article says real quick.
God,
Farrakhan says that Tyler Perry is one of the most brilliant young entrepreneurs of our time. He said that he is grateful to Tyler Perry for bringing Medea to the forefront of America's consciousness.
What?
So what forefront of America's consciousness is he grateful for Medea? Because I don't recall anywhere where Farrakhan says that this is how black women are behaving, and we need to bring that to light so black women can stop behaving like that. Not once have I seen an article, saw a video, or heard him say in the speaking that black women need to stop being monsters, and Medea is an example of what black women are doing and what they need to stop doing. Not once. About you, something?
Yeah, concert. Okay, my thing is, it's a lot of it, actually.
What you said?
Forefront. No, I wanted to get exactly what Farrakhan said. Right?
Oh,
okay, the forefront to the forefront of America's consciousness. Basically,
hold on, I'm gonna read it. Right? Farrakhan states, "I have never seen his portrayal of Medea as a man cross-dressing, which is absolutely absurd because you're watching Medea, who you consciously know is a man dressing up like a woman with fake breasts, with a fake ass, wearing a dress, wearing a skirt, in heels, in flats, with makeup on, with a wig on, looking like a woman. So you damn well know that you are watching a man cross-dress and portraying a woman." He also goes and says, "I saw his wonderful portrayal of Medea as bringing to the forefront the strongest person in the history of our sojourn in America, and that is Medea, that strong black woman who was the cornerstone of her family. She was always that figure, that guidance of correction, reprimand, discipline, and Tyler Perry brought her to the screen in funny ways. But what I was seeing was the greatness of a strong black woman who saw us through from yesterday until today." How absolutely amazing is that?
My whole thing about it is like, okay, the cornerstone, forefront of America's consciousness. You don't think police brutality could have gotten that role? You don't think the prison system could have gotten that role? You don't think scriptures could have gotten that role? No, a man who dressed as a woman. Like, that's what should be at the forefront, what's it called, of America's consciousness. A man dressed as a woman. Not even the image of a strong black woman. the image of a man dressed as a woman.
And to say that he is portraying a figure that guidance of correction, reprimand, and discipline, Medea acts like a goddamn fool in all the goddamn time in all those goddamn movies.
Right.
What guidance of correction or reprimand or discipline?
Right.
Medea is acting like a whore the entire movie.
Right.
Medea is acting like a loudmouth monster the entire movie.
Right.
Medea, like you said, is always involved in some issue with the police and with the court system because of her horrendous and violent behavior.
Right.
How is that the image of the strongest person in the history of our sojourn in America? That is an example why we are destroyed here in America.
If I may, not to even gone back, because it's been a while since Medea. I remember because I used to watch all the plays about her. Medea used to be a goddamn stripper.
Yes.
Something in the play.
Yes,
like,
she was
like
a stripper.
Not to get too far off topic, it was what's it called when she was talking about I used to work at a strip club owned by a cat named Ronald. I got these two yellow poles and I broke them and he turned it into a business talking about that's McDonald's. Like, yeah, but like Medea is not a good person or someone you put as the forefront of our sojourn in America. Like, no, an ex-stripper.
See, and this is why you're absolutely right, because these leaders like Minister Farrakhan, these celebrities like Martin, Tyler Perry, right? They are destroying our youth.
Right.
From actually dressing like women to supporting the idea like Minister Louis Farrakhan is right here, destroying our youth.
Right.
Medea is not a role model that women should want to model themselves after.
Right.
Medea is a whore, used to be a stripper, brags about it, is extremely violent, loudmouth, doesn't know when to shut the hell up, always in trouble with the cops.
Right.
How is that the strongest person in our history?
Right.
How is that a figure of guidance, of correction, reprimand, and discipline when she's a whore?
Right.
When she can't discipline herself and is always getting in trouble with police?
Right.
When she's always ready to cause extreme violence and pain to someone else? I was seeing of the strong black women who saw us from yesterday. That is a smack in the face to all of you black and Hispanic women who come from women that had to endure slavery, that had to endure being raped by white men, that had to endure not having enough to cook and feed your family with, that had to endure the pains and struggles right along with your black and Hispanic men.
Right.
And you think this black man making fun of black women is the best example of black women? Is the best example of a strong black woman? Right? This is absolutely degrading to all of you black and Hispanic women out there. He also goes on to say, when you look at Tyler Perry's movies, you see the brilliance of T.D. Jakes, a spiritual giant. T.D. Jakes is a spiritual snake because he leads all so-called black and Hispanic people astray from God. T.D. Jakes, T.D. Snakes does nothing but take the money from desperate, poor, black, Hispanic, and Native American men and women. Right?
So wait, so like these are Farrakhan's words about T.D. Jakes as well?
Yes. Let's see what more he says. He calls Tyler Perry a spiritual giant, a magnificent human being, and I pray that this year his art, his greatness will shine even more in healing our people through mass projection of drama through films and plays.
Now,
go ahead about it.
If I could ask, what sister or really brother not in a dress is he doing this for? Like, did he ever do this for Tupac? Tupac was literally going in the community, not to what's called, because Tupac had his own problems, but Tupac was literally going in the communities, like trying to make deals with the community. Like, they were like, you mess with me, I'll bring rappers out here to support y'all and really help the community. But things I need from y'all is y'all gotta like have some codes with y'all stuff. Like, there can be no selling of drugs in schools, and so Tupac was actually trying to help. And you got other pack cats who want to help, but like Farrakhan wants to uphold a man wearing a dress.
Say it one time, brother.
I said you got so many cats that actually do want to help our people, but Farrakhan, it seems, wants to uphold a man in a dress.
Yes.
Instead of people who actually would go out and try to help, like maybe a Tupac who was just confused, or maybe like what was his view? Like what was his views on Kaepernick? Did he say we giving Kaepernick millions of dollars to support his movement? Like nothing, right?
Correct.
But what want to dress up like, and to my knowledge, I'm not too familiar with Islam, but I thought that was illegal for them to.
Yeah, but again, Farrakhan doesn't practice Islam.
It's like
he reads more from the Bible than anything.
Right.
He's a good Christian.
Right.
That shaves his face and wears a bow tie.
Right.
And makes his hair waves to the left or wave to the right, depending on the day.
Right.
It's all Christianity. It's all supporting and saying that God will forgive you for being a cross-dresser. Or God will forgive you for being a transgender. Right? It even says here that Farrakhan's assessment of Perry is counter to the intense criticism that Perry has been subjected to throughout his career from scholars and community leaders who feel that his portrayal of black men is emasculating, which is absolutely correct. But people don't look at these scholars as leaders. People don't look at these community leaders as leaders. They look at Minister Farrakhan as a leader. When the common folk are saying that Tyler Perry is emasculating black men, right? This has to stop. You can put the camera back on me.
John, sir.
All this has to stop. Because this cross-dressing, as you see, is a slap in the face to our men and our women. Tyler Perry is a big example. Can you read?
2025. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Say what?
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
A woman is not supposed to be dressing like a man. Keep going.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
And a man is not supposed to be dressing like a woman. Queen Latifah is wrong for going up there on that television screen and showing your children that it's okay for a woman to dress, behave, and conduct herself as a man.
Right.
Martin Lawrence, Tyler Perry, John Leguizamo, right? They are absolutely wrong for showing your children that it is acceptable and okay for a man to put on a wig, makeup, and a dress and act and portray himself as a woman. It is absolutely wrong. Which leads me from cross-dressing to transforming of the LGBT community. Can you give me the Romans, the first chapter, right?
First part. No.
Because of cross-dressing, we have our children, even though this is a damn devil, we have our children at young age. They want to be a girl now, even though they were born a boy. That they want to be a boy now, even though they were born a girl. For example, can you turn the camera over, Sean?
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Oh, perfect.
Right?
There's no glare.
This is a boy who dresses like a girl, and he likes it. He absolutely likes dressing up as a woman because his parents encouraged him to. His parents allowed him and subjected him to be around and see things that has put this idea into his mind. Abadia?
I was gonna say one thing I always I don't understand is that, cause I was watching something about Usain Bolt just had 2 kids, 2 twin boys, and somebody got mad at CNN on Twitter cause Usain and CNN, y'all are messed up for assuming the baby's gender that they want to be referred to as sons, so on and so forth. But how about me as a parent? I assume what my child is or isn't because I made them. Say, how about I can't assume that he don't want to smoke cigarettes. So when he gets about 4 or 5, I'm gonna go up to him and ask him because he's a person just like me. Would you like to possibly give yourself cancer? Or is that the decision that an adult should make? Well, maybe what you do with yourself and your sexuality should be ready for when you're ready to have sex, not when you're 5.
You're absolutely right, buddy.
Salakia. Thank him. If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
Have you ever watched him speak since all the changes?
Say again?
Have you ever watched him speak since all the changes?
No.
Sounds like a man. And that's half the scary thing.
Doesn't want to load to.
Gosh,
That's okay. Let me get this one right here. This is an Olympic athlete who decided that he was living a lie. This is Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner used to be on almost every single Wheaties box next to Michael Jordan and all these other superstar athletes. Bruce Jenner, a man for almost all his life, who's had sex with women and has children, is now this thing on the left side. Thank Apple. Shout out to Apple for allowing this mouse to grow bigger because it's doing this justice. This man is now transformed himself to be this woman with actual breasts. This is a man. Bruce Jenner not only was having sex with women, I'm pretty sure he was having sex with men too. He had to be. Because women, the women naturally will have sex with men. So him thinking that he's naturally a woman all these years, pumping those weights and running and jumping over hurdles in the Olympics, he was thinking how, man, I wish I had a vagina so I can have sex with men. Meanwhile, he was a man having sex with women and men. Abadia?
If I may, I read interviews when it was first coming out. I forgot if it was his wife or one of the other girls, but they were talking about they kind of knew because certain feminine products in the house would go missing, but not like tampons and all that, obviously, like panties would go missing. And it's like, and you just think about it, it's like, yo, what are you doing with those? You're not even a woman yet. You're just Salakia. If I may, it's a very bad demon that those people have, to Like if I.
But it's not just these people. It's because of people like this.
Right.
Right. They awarded Bruce Jenner the Brave Woman Award or something like that.
Right, Con. Woman of the Year. Woman of the Year. And if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
I feel some type of way about that personally. Like I feel personally offended by that award. For the simple fact that I don't know about you, my mother had to wash my clothes by hand. And it left her hands permanently bleached. Like if you ever see my mom's hands, they were like indented from all the bleach. And it's like, that's not Woman of the Year material. I'm like, all the other mothers that have to go that far and even further for their children. That's not Woman of the Year. But a man who cuts off his rod, you can't even say bravery or none of that because it's a goddamn Olympic athlete. Like his whole life is like endurance. So what is he really?
He had to endure being a woman his entire life. When he was having sex with a Kris Jenner,
right? God.
He was like, man, I'm enduring. I'm putting this penis in you, and I'm enduring the fact that I want to be you.
Right.
You're sucking my rod, and I'm enduring the fact that I wish I was you doing this to a man. All these years he had to endure watching you go through, what was it, 2 or 3 times of pregnancy? God. You going through pregnancy 2 or 3 times for 9 months, carrying my babies, giving birth out of your vagina, having them suck on your breast and get nourished. And this entire time I had to endure knowing that I wanted to be you, but I was a man. About you.
If I may, last I checked, and this is because this is very common, but I don't understand it at all. This is why I say it's a very bad demon, because what's it called? Last I checked, she had a girlfriend. Like this is a few years ago.
Who had a girlfriend?
Caitlyn. Bruce.
Bruce, yeah.
Right, like.
That's a he.
Yeah, right, and it's like. So I make me want to question: is that even unlawful then?
Listen, we can get into that too. It's all unlawful.
God.
Because first, he cross-dressed to be a woman,
right.
Which is an abomination.
Right.
Boom, right there. That's the first. But listen, Esau's a profane fornicator anyway. So him doing that, unlawful. Him getting breasts. I don't even know if he chopped off his penis or not. I have no idea. But him just doing that, again, unlawful. Him going against the natural use of a woman and the natural use of a man is unlawful. We're about to get into it.
John,
please read Romans chapter 1, I think it's verse 25 or 26.
5?
Yeah, it's talking about the woman. Might be 26.
27. Yeah, kind of. 27.
No, 20. I want you to start off with, yeah, you can read the one about man, 27.
27. And likewise also the men leaving the natural use of the woman.
What?
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
The man leaving the natural use of a woman. The natural use of a woman is to have sex with a man,
right.
Get pregnant by a man,
right.
Grow a child in her womb for 9 months,
right.
For a man, give birth to children for that man, and help nourish and raise that children with that man.
Right.
That's the natural use of a woman. And men in this day and age are going against the natural use of a woman. Bruce Jenner, his whole life, he was jumping over hurdles and running away from the fact that he was a man. Mm. He jumped over hurdles and ran away from the natural use of a woman. Because he had his own wife who he was having sex with. He probably had other women sticking his rod in their vagina, trying to get them pregnant. Got his wife pregnant once or twice, right? And then he decided he wanted to, enough was enough, and he wanted to leave the natural use of a woman. Yabadia?
No, I was going to say, he had sons. He was married before Chris.
Oh, he had sons too?
Yeah.
So he had more than one. He had a bunch of children.
He got like 2, 3 other sons. Yeah.
So this man has a bunch of children. And after experiencing, I don't know about him, but experiencing the great feeling of putting my rod into my woman is amazing. And for me to even think or contemplate leaving that natural use is absolutely insane. It's absolutely mental. It's unbelievably stupid. But Bruce Jenner, the entire time he was running through the Olympics, he was running away from the natural use of a woman. He was trying to figure out, how can I not fulfill my duties and give my women their due benevolence? How can I not stick my rod into a woman and create more life? That's leaving the natural use of a woman. Keep going.
Sir. Burned in their lust.
What?
Burned in their lust.
Every time Bruce Jenner stuck his rod into a woman, he did what?
Burned in their lust.
Every time Bruce Jenner had a newborn being delivered in the hospital, he what?
Burned in their lust.
Every time he laid in the bed next to his wives, like Kris Jenner, he what?
Burned in their lust.
Every time Kris Jenner or a woman rolled over to grab Bruce Jenner's rod so they can have sex with him, he did what?
Burned in their lust.
He burned in his lust and kept thinking about how he wanted to be a woman, how he did not want to have sex with them, how he wanted to give birth to his own children, how he wishes he was a woman. He did what?
Burned in their lust.
He burned in his lust. He did not want to be laying next to a woman. He did not want to be grabbing a woman's breast. He did not want to stick his rod into a woman's vagina. He did not want to get women pregnant. He did what?
Burned in their lust.
He burned in his lust, and that's why he was such a great Olympian, because he was running away and running towards his lust. With every step, with every jump, with every medal, with every box of Wheaties that you bought, with every kid that poured a bowl of Wheaties and added some sugar and mixed it all around so that bubbles can form to eat it, he was running towards his lust, his burning lust of him wanting to be a woman, his burning lust of him not wanting to engage in the natural use of a woman. Keep going, Abadu.
God. One towards another.
One towards what?
Another.
He actually wanted to be with men.
Right.
He did not want to be a man.
Right.
He wanted to be a woman. And women naturally be with men. Or the fact that, and he did not want to be a man. He wanted to be a woman so that he can be with other women. Keep going.
Men with men working that which is unseemly.
Men with men working that which is unseemly. It is absolutely unseemly for you to want to cut off your rod, get a vagina instead, and have other men put their rod in your penis-made vagina. Because that's what it is. It's your penis being removed of all of its natural tissue, being turned inside out so you can still keep the skin and the sensitive areas of the skin, and creating a vagina inside between your legs. You want a vagina so that way a man can insert his rod into where your penis used to be. You want a man, you are a man who wants another man to be all up in his guts. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. Read that last part again.
Another, men with men, working that which is unseemly.
You wanted to do all sorts of unthinkable, unimaginable things with other men, Bruce Jenner. Every time you ran in the Olympics, every time you went to go work out, every time you won a gold medal, Bruce Jenner was thinking about the fun he could be having with other men if he was a woman. About it.
So, like, one question: are you willing to give back the medals and everything? Because you probably wouldn't have those as a woman.
Well, listen, transgenders in sports is a big thing now. I just saw. I was watching Hulu earlier today, and I saw a new documentary about transgender athletes in sports, and how they're saying that these student athletes who are transgender are living their life and they should not be stopped. And you have teenage boys with the body, physique, and build of men racing against actual women. And they're calling these boys women and giving them credit for breaking all types of records, running against real women. How is that fair competition? You have a penis and balls in between your legs, and just because you identify as a woman and get hair extensions with blonde weave, you get to run against real women and demolish all these records that have been set by real women, but you get considered to be a real woman. Real women are being obliterated in their own sport, made specifically for women by men now wanting to be women. About you?
It's a lot of you. This is why, like, it's so funny because you hate the I.S.U.P.K, but we're not ones who truly will protect women. Like, LGBTQ is a group of bullies.
Yes, it is.
And if I may, sir, the thing that's sad about it is that the thing they try to fight the most is the very thing they are. And the very thing they are is why they're successful. And you know what that is? Men.
Yep.
And it's sad because the aggression that the LGBTQ community has only comes from a man. Like, talk ish about the LGBT community and see if they don't get in your face and feel like you are not being threatened like by some opposing army or some great threat. Like, you understand the difference between being threatened by a bunch of females, to use that term loosely, and being threatened by some men. The LGBTQ community, like, has the aggressive spirit of a man, like a man ready to go to war. And that's why they're so, because it's like they're able to go in, they're able to bum rush anyone in their way and take whatever they want. And it's so sad because homosexuals make it seem like they love women or they want to be women, but it's more about replacing women than being women.
You're absolutely right. And this is what we were talking about. This says transgender MMA fighter hurts woman fighter in ring. Now I'm going to show you something. This is a man,
right,
who is transgender and has become a quote-unquote transgender man to female MMA fighter. That's him on the left, that's before, and that's him on the right. He's still a man, regardless of what they want to say. That is a man right here, right? Now this man is identified as a female MMA fighter, mixed martial art fighter. This man fought this black woman in an MMA fight. Look at this man fighting this black woman. Look at how this man is physically built to fight this woman. Look how she's physically built. She's built like a woman. She nowhere has the physique as this man who she's fighting. This man that's throwing the punch at this black woman. About you?
If I may, I don't know if you looked up, but initially from what I was told, instructed about this is like late in the game. She didn't like, well, he didn't like start from the bottom of the top because this was a tournament, right? And this wasn't, and she didn't like, he didn't start from the bottom. It's just you get in, Cat's sisters got there, they went, we doing our fights. Oh yeah, by the way, when y'all get halfway done, there's a tranny in there. What? Yeah, y'all got fight. And they did have no warning.
This is absolutely now. What happens when men fight women?
We talk about straight men fighting, like
a man fighting a woman. What happens?
The man's gonna usually win.
Yes. Who gets hurt in these situations?
I guess usually the woman.
The woman, because she's not physically built to compete and fight and go against a man. She will be hurt. In the UPK, our men, we protect our women.
Right.
We don't hurt our women.
Right.
This woman needed protection because this is how she looked. This black woman needed protection from the man that she was fighting because this is the aftermath. Look at her face. Look at her nose. Look at her skull. This woman has been assaulted by a man posing and pretending to be a woman. This black woman was allowed to fight. Sorry, let me rephrase that. A man who identifies as a woman was allowed to fight an actual woman and did this damage to her face. Look at this woman. All the destruction to her face, having to fight a man in front of hundreds or not thousands of spectators, in front of thousands and millions of people watching online. We had to watch this woman be legally beaten by a man. When a woman is being beaten by a man, the cops are called, the cops come, the man gets arrested for assaulting a woman, he goes to jail, the woman goes to the hospital to be treated for being attacked by a man. But this was allowed to happen on live TV. A man identifying as a woman was allowed to beat someone's daughter senselessly. A man who identified as a woman was allowed to beat and brutalize someone's mother, someone's wife on live television, and it'd be absolutely okay. About it?
If I may, sir, one thing I find interesting is that, like, what's called you.
Look at her face.
Yeah, like it's
ridiculous.
Like ridiculous. Like my thing is like what I find funny is that when you look at everything that's going on, you're starting to see America's being destroyed, but in an interesting way. It's being destroyed by its own stupidity. And what I mean by its own stupidity is that this in itself is stupid. The idea that I can do some type of cosmetics and be on the same playing field as a woman is a dumb idea. And you're seeing that to happen. You're seeing ideas like the idea of equality as a whole is being destroyed when you get things like transgenders and even them using the bathroom. Because the reason I have to share a bathroom with them isn't a problem with me or them. The problem is if female transgender, you're now putting them in a different group.
Right.
And they can't be together with everybody else. So in order for equality, you'd have to put them separately. But then you have things like this. You can't have equality inside of sports. That's like you put me inside. That's like you putting me as let's say, as a junior high schooler inside of an elementary school because I feel like I'm a third grader, right? That won't be fair to those third grade children when it comes to whatever type of extracurriculars they have to do, because at the end of the day, I'm going to win. Why? Because I'm superior.
Right.
There is no equality in this world, and that's the problem. People want to ignore that and ignore that the scriptures teach you that. There is no equality. God, that's pretty much it for me.
No, you're absolutely right. And look what it says here. It says, everything in regards to this fight of this man fighting this woman, says everything happened in the first round, within the first 2.5 minutes. It was a messy, bloody fight and not easy for everyone to watch. That's because we were watching a man beat the shit out of a woman legally on live television. During the fight, Tamika, who's the actual woman, who's the real woman, suffered a concussion, fractured her orbital bone in her skull. And her opponent, the transgender Fallon Fox, didn't stop beating the crap out of Tamika until Tamika was finally TKO'd. Right? After the fight, she received several staples to her head. This man, Fallon Fox, beat the crap, physically abused this black woman in a ring for everyone to watch in the ring, in the arena, and at home, and got away with it. He got away with beating a black woman, and everyone just watched, applauded, and accepted it.
Right.
Look now, let's read her quote. Let's read the quote from Tamika, the woman who got assaulted in that ring by that transgender. She says, "I fought a lot of women and have never felt the strength that I felt in a fight as I did that night." That's because Tamika was used to fighting against women. She wasn't used to fighting against men. She fought a man that night.
Right.
That night she got a concussion, she was fighting a man. The night that she got a fractured orbital bone in her skull was because she was fighting a man. The fact that she needed staples in her head was because she was fighting a man. Staples, yes.
I'm just saying.
She said, "I can't answer whether it's because she was born a man or not, because I'm not a doctor." You are a goddamn liar. You know it's exactly because she was born a man. You don't need to be a doctor to look at a strong man and a strong woman and see how much more built and strong a man is compared to that woman. About it?
And you know that's a preference because she's saying that because she wants to fight again.
Yes.
And which is even sad in and of itself. You got staples in your goddamn skull.
You broke your whole orbital bone was fractured.
Right. And you're saying to yourself, like what's called, I don't want to say anything bad, even though this was a complete F-up on the MMA's part. I don't want to say anything bad because I'd like to have the chance to possibly have this happen again.
And she says, because she was born a man, you already know. You cannot be born a man and then be as if you were born a woman. That doesn't change in your DNA.
Right.
All you transgenders are disgusting because you are violent and you are a bunch of bullies in the LGBT community. You cannot go from being born a man with a DNA of a man, with the biology of a man, with the physique that naturally develops for your body because you are a man, to now being a woman. You will never have the genetic the genes to be a woman. You will never have the biology to be a woman.
Right.
You can't go from being built like a man to now deleting all of that and being built like a woman. She fought a man that night. And we all saw firsthand what a trained fighter, when two trained fighters, a man and a woman, get in the ring together. We found out what happens.
Right.
That woman gets destroyed and demolished by that man who now is pretending to be a woman.
Right.
She goes on and says, "I can only say I've never felt so overpowered ever in my life." That's because you were fighting a man, not a woman. And I am an abnormally strong female in my own right. Yeah, she might have been a strong ass female. She might have been the female version of Debo, right? You might have been the toughest chick on the block, but you went up against a man who's training to fight.
Right.
And he beat your ass because he is a man and you still are a woman.
Right.
Body.
Now I was gonna say, like, you're normally strong. Like, I was normally strong. I could bench press 190. I know niggas in my junior high school weightlifting class I could do 190.
Yes, you're fighting against a man. That's like she basically was saying she thought she was Wonder Woman,
right?
And she went up against Superman and got her ass kicked.
Slap you.
I'm abnormally strong for a woman,
right.
But you still were fighting Superman,
right.
who has laser beams that come out of his eyes that can blow you with his icy chilled breath. Right. That can throw you, that can go and be okay in the atmosphere in the sun.
Slap you.
About it?
He flew to the sun. He flew from Earth to the sun in less than 2 seconds whilst fighting Wonder Woman. This happened in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's no match.
You like, come on. Let's be real. She goes, I still disagree with Fox fighting. She disagrees with a transgender man fighting against other women.
Right.
But you still fought him.
Right.
You got your ass. Now, let me not say that's very insensitive. You allowed yourself to be abused. Right. Physically assaulted by a man for all these people to watch. Come on, from a brother to a sister, what was going through your mind? Did you honestly think that you were going to overpower a man who's training just like you, who has bigger muscles than you, who has more strength than you, who is genetically designed to be stronger in every way imaginable than you? You actually thought that was okay? You actually thought that you were going to win? You actually thought that you were going to put up a fight? You got beat senselessly, sis. He hurt you. He hurt you severely. He fractured and broke bones. He split open your skull. About you?
God, now I was just gonna say, like, it's crazy. She honestly, you asked when she said what was she thinking, what was going through her head. Money. Yeah. I don't think she had any intention. Like I said, from what I was told, she was put in, or they were alerted that the tranny was fighting later in the match. So this girl literally went into the tournament saying, I'm about to beat all these women up or do my thing against these women. Out later, there's a tranny, and if you don't want to fight the tranny, you out the tournament. So it's like, if I came to get this money and the tranny's she probably even said it to herself, I'm probably about to lose, but might as well try.
Right? Yeah. She goes on and says, when it comes to a combat sport, I think it just isn't fair. It isn't fair for our women having to fight against men. It isn't fair for our women having to run against men. Right. It's just not fair. Right. It stops being a female sport. Right. When you have transgender men who are transgender race against your daughter in the high school level. Right. Taking away their possibility of getting athletic collegiate scholarships. Right. It is unfair. Right? And you know what else is discussed? You know what else? Bruce Jenner, that Olympian, received an award calling him a brave woman. It says here, this year we saw famous former Olympic champion Bruce Jenner transform himself into a woman named Caitlyn. Now he has been named Woman of the Year, despite a few reasons why he's obviously disqualified. You know how many women out there, like Abadia said, his mom, her hands turned white for having to scrub his clothes with bleach so that way he can have clean clothes and white clothes in the morning every day. She did not get Woman of the Year. Right. We have mothers who are working 2 jobs to put food on their table for their children that did not win Women of the Year. We have women that create breakthrough technology and science and cures for all different types of diseases and technologies, and they did not win Women of the Year. Right. We have little girls aspiring to be doctors and lawyers and judges, right? Actresses, celebrities, right? We have all these little girls who, when they grow up, they're not even thought of or considered to be Women of the Year with all their accomplishments. But we have this man who ran around a field and had to endure the fact that he wished he was a woman. This man beat your mothers.
Right.
This man beat my mother. This man beat our sisters.
Right.
And was considered to be a better woman. This man was considered to be a better woman than all the women you know in your life.
Right.
All the women you know in your life, your grandmother, your mother, your aunts, your daughters, your wife, your first grade teacher.
Right.
This man was considered to be a better woman than all those other women that you can think of, and was given Woman of the Year. He was given the award for supposed bravery.
Wow.
There's women in the United States military that are going to war. They did not receive the Woman of the Year award for their bravery. But this man, this famous celebrity, this famous Olympian, this gold medalist, this silver medalist, this bronze medalist, this man who used to be on every box of Wheaties next to Michael Jordan, this man was considered to be brave for his transformation to a woman and received Woman of the Year award. But your women did not, who've been women their entire lives, who have to go and fight through things that women have to fight through all their lives. As Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, we go through so many struggles that the white woman can never relate to. But this white man beat white women and got this award. This white man beat all the struggles of Black, Hispanic, and Native American women and was considered to be braver than all of them and received this Woman of the Year award. Abadi?
Now I was going to say, when you mentioned the sisters that go to war, like they not only fight in the war, they're also fighting what's called, they also fight sexual abuse, sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, basically
yes,
race on base.
You're absolutely right. Now here we have another Black, Hispanic, and Native American celebrity, a famous, well-known basketball player who endorses and supports his son transforming to being a woman. Where's this picture? I want that picture. Here we go. Wait, no.
With the baby?
Where is it at? There's a specific picture I want. Hold on. What's his name?
Zion. I think Zion's the actual name, but Zaire. Khan.
There we go.
Oh, that's the one.
This is Dwayne Wade's wife, Gabrielle Union. We all know her from that sexy sister on Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2, right?
Oh, she was in both?
Yeah, I believe she was in both.
I thought she was only in 2, but Khan.
Well, either way.
Yeah, Khan.
Gabrielle Union, this beautiful sister, married to Dwayne Wade, supports Dwayne Wade's son in being a transgender. Supporting his son going from a boy to a girl. Supporting his son from looking like a boy to looking like a girl with weave. To supporting his son and his involvement in the LGBT community. Marching in parades, giving speeches, dressing like a woman. You celebrities are the reason why our children are destroyed. You athletes are the reason why our children are destroyed. You politicians, you comedians, you fake spiritual leaders and religious leaders are the reasons why our children are destroyed. You can turn the camera back.
God.
You are the reason why our children are destroyed here in America, because you support this LGBTQ agenda that the white man pushes on our people, on our communities. You endorse cross-dressing, which is a gateway to transgenderism, as we clearly see. Growing up and laughing at Martin Lawrence dressed as Shanae and Big Mama, and watching Tyler Perry be the perfect example of a strong black woman when he dresses like Medea, is the reason why our kids end up thinking that they were born the wrong gender. Thinking that a 3-year-old son can now be a 3-year-old girl. You are the reasons why cross-dressing and transgenderism have infiltrated and destroyed our children and their minds, their psychological development. And the I.S.U.P.K will not stand for that. That's my time. I'm Precinct Officer Shagapan of the I.S.U.P.K. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. To my brothers, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shabbat. To my sisters, Yahweh Shemalatan, Bashim Mashad. The what? Shalom, Israel.
Cut.
Yeah.